Prince Harry certainly has a knack for making himself the centre of global attention. Harry is seemingly addicted to invading his privacy, invading the privacy of his friends and families, and appearing in public places and making sure that everyone talks about them. He's currently at the High Court in London.
Prince Harry's battle over his security continues. That apparently the Home Office does not want to extend security to Harry for political reasons.
Prince Harry and Meghan Markle could lose their bid for taxpayer-funded security in the UK due to concerns of a public backlash.
Actually pokes more holes in Harry's story and proves Prince Harry and Meghan Markle wrong.
Yeah, nobody set out to destroy you. You destroyed yourself in this country with your ludicrous, hypocritical behaviour.
Right now, the big debate is if Harry actually won or lost his fight for police security. But hardly anyone is asking, what was Harry truly after the whole time? When you actually learn the answer, and trust me, most folks don't know it, suddenly the entire past 5 years start to make sense.
Prince Harry did not win the main Ravik court case to get his automatic taxpayer-funded UK police protection reinstated. In 2020, after stepping back as a working royal and moving to the US, Ravik, the UK's Royal and VIP Executive Committee, removed his automatic top-level publicly funded police protection. Harry challenged that in court. He lost in the High Court in 2024.
Piers Morgan figured it out. And when he said it on his show, people across the country took notice and went silent. Stick with me on this, because this is the explanation everyone's missing.
The stage of a court case is all about procedure. There are no witnesses, no evidence, no box office material. The hearings take place today and yesterday and could have passed without anyone really noticing, but Harry wanted everyone to see him.
Let's begin where everyone else stops talking. Back in May 2025, Harry lost his latest case in the Court of Appeal. All three judges agreed Harry would not get back his taxpayer-funded police guards.
Prince Harry has lost a legal challenge with the UK government over his security entitlements following his decision to step down from royal duties.
That fact alone got lots of headlines. But here's what almost no one in the media has really broken down. Even though Piers Morgan's been shouting about it for months, this issue was never just about a few British police following Harry around England. What Harry really wanted, and what his entire campaign has been aimed at, is something called IP status, or internationally protected person status. When you grasp what IP status is, you'll see the story in a totally different light.
Prince Harry has won a full security risk assessment following a major U-turn by the Home Office. So Prince Harry brought a high-profile legal claim against the government over the decision to remove his right to automatic taxpayer-funded security. What do you make of this? Could this actually pave the way for Harry to return to the UK with his children?
So, what is IP status? It's a title usually reserved only for top world leaders, presidents, prime ministers, foreign ministers, and diplomats. It's the highest possible security you can get. Here's the kicker. If you're given IP status, then every country you visit is, by law, forced to give you elite armed protection. Plus, they pay the bill, not you, and not the British taxpayer. It goes for wherever you are in the world.
It's official. Prince Harry really does want his internationally protected person status back, IPP. So this status allows him anytime he's in another country to get security funded by that government. Yes, oh yes, Harry is suing over this. Now, he claims it's just about how he is treated in the United Kingdom.
This would be huge for Harry and Meghan, who are always traveling. Think about it. Nigeria, Colombia, Jordan, Australia, Ukraine, the US. If Harry had IP status, every trip comes with a top-level, government-funded security detail. Depending on how much they travel, experts think it could save them anywhere from $6 million to as much as $28 million each year.
However, what the Telegraph reveals in its recent article is that Harry is looking to see how other countries treat him based on his status via the UK. So if the UK reinstates his internationally protected person status back, that means potentially you and me as an American taxpayer, if you are an American watching this channel, or any other country Prince Harry goes, he should be able to get basically diplomatic level, VIP level security, essentially funded by that government.
But security isn't the only perk. IP status also means Harry could get the same financial shielding as diplomats. That means less scrutiny and less transparency for things like foundation money and income. Piers Morgan noticed this early on. On his show, he said, "It's about ego, of course, but also a pile of money."
For Harry and Meghan, the incentive seems to be international. Well, I think the incentive is ego primarily, but also finance, because international government level protection would dramatically reduce the cost of their private security. That would save the Sussexes millions of dollars.
Being given international level security could majorly cut down what Harry and Meghan have to spend on private guards, which, in turn, would save them millions every single year.
He does not need that level of security because he is not part of that head of state status anymore. So if the UK government allows this, then they are on the hook for everything Harry and Meghan are doing in many ways. It may cause problems with other governments because they're like, well, we had to cover the security for this Duke and Duchess of nothing who ran around, did a fashion show, did a couple of charity events. We didn't get any money for it. We got no discernible benefit from it. And so it will cause friction with other countries. This is a huge, massive problem.
Seen in this light, Harry's 5-year legal battle suddenly adds up. This wasn't just a worried son wanting to keep his kids safe when visiting their granddad. It was a smart, long game to try and win a status that would make Harry and Meghan almost untouchable, both financially and physically, anywhere on Earth. The courts noticed. So did Piers Morgan.
So the political side of the committee making this decision believes there is too much political risk, that people will rise up and be angry about having to fork up such a significant amount of money to protect these two, while the police and security chiefs believe that Harry absolutely must have, again, I'm quoting, must have increased security due to threats. Ultimately, Rita, what we think they want is IPP status. IPP stands for Internationally Protected Person. It's normally applied to presidents, prime ministers, and diplomats. If someone has been designated the IPP status, countries are obligated to provide heightened security protection for them, no matter what country it is.
Now, here's something almost nobody reported, yet it wrecks Harry's whole argument. For the past 5 years, Harry yelled from the rooftops that he never got a risk assessment for his security. On the BBC, right after he lost his appeal, he actually said it was crazy no one had checked the dangers he faces since 2020.
I love reconciliation with my family. There's no point in continuing to fight anymore. As I said, life is precious. I don't know how much longer my father has. He won't speak to me because of this security stuff.
Harry made it sound like the government totally forgot about him and left him in danger. But here's the twist. Harry could have asked for a new security assessment every single year since 2020. It was an option. All he needed to do was fill out a request, yet he never did. Why? Because Harry's own lawyers advised him not to. If he started using the system to get a new review while challenging the old one in court, it would mess up his lawsuit. You can't claim a system is broken while also using it for your own needs.
Says Home Office tries to block new security for Prince Harry. Officials fear public outcry if Duke and Duchess of Sussex get taxpayer-funded protection. And so, just as an aside for Harry and Meghan, who are not popular people, who's basically had a huge profile about them in Variety, basically telling the world they're crappy at their job and that nobody should take them seriously. Now, you have all that together, and Prince Harry really thinks that people are going to be gun-ho to pay for his security in the UK, let alone anywhere abroad, is out of his mind. Just for his own public image, he should not.
So, Harry made his move. He chose to go all in on the lawsuit instead. He dragged things out in court for 5 years, spending millions on legal bills, and always criticizing both the palace and the rules, instead of just following the simple process already available to him. After losing in court, he finally, years later, did what he could have done right at the start. He wrote to the Home Secretary and asked for a new review. And then, suddenly, a female stalker who got close to Harry during a UK charity visit became the focus of his new security argument.
Prince Harry apparently has a stalker, and he's using this to try to leverage the British government into giving him a larger protection apparatus. And this is just, of course, ridiculous. Every public figure pretty much has a stalker that they have to deal with from time to time. This is the burden of public life, one that Harry should know quite well.
One expert summed it up. Harry cared more about fighting his legal battle than making sure security checks were done. If he wasn't assessed for 5 years, that was his lawyer's decision, not the government's fault. Piers Morgan's reaction was sharp. Harry spent 5 years and a huge sum trying to prove the system was against him, when he could have simply used the system in the first place. Now he wants praise for finally doing it.
That Harry's been very tenacious. He wouldn't let this go even though the court sort of overruled it. So he personally wrote to the Home Secretary to look at his security level. This was last done in 2018 and it was found that he was the highest security risk alongside two other people, and those two people were the Queen and the then British Prime Minister Theresa May. So he genuinely has a case for it being assessed.
Let's talk about this supposed stalker, because this is where things get muddy. The people who really watch this story are skeptical as can be. After Harry lost in May 2025, his hopes of getting security through the court were gone. He needed a new angle and something solid to force the authorities to look at his case again. In September 2025, at a UK charity event, a woman got close to him. Twice. Harry's team called her a stalker who broke past security lines. They leaked every little detail to the press so everyone heard about it.
And again, I'm just being careful because I don't know the legalities here and I don't want to get in super huge trouble or anything. But if you look back through the pictures from Alamy, you see a woman. And if you put in Prince Harry, it'll come up. And she looks a lot like this person. She has black hair and she also had little pearl stud earrings. And I feel like I can see those right there. So I'm just saying that might be the person. And she's literally right next to Harry, like right next to him at one point. And I was like, okay, so they had to body block this person as they claim to in here, and yet she's there. So what's the truth? So here we go. It says a known stalker came within feet of the Duke of Sussex on 2 separate occasions during his recent visit to the UK.
But here's the catch. This woman was never arrested, never charged, not even detained. In fact, several reports said she was a member of the Sussex Squad, Harry and Meghan's own fan club. She'd actually been in photos with them at previous events. She wasn't any kind of attacker.
Harry wasn't under threat on his last visit, as he claims. He had a female fan who had travelled the world to see him. God knows why, especially with those balding locks. God knows why. But for some reason, this female fan travels all over the world to get close to Prince Harry. There she is, a black woman it seems. He has many who do travel, including to Africa, to be with him, have never threatened him physically, have never had any weapons on them, have never threatened to shoot him or to bomb him or to do anything like that. But this has now been used by Harry's team in order to secure government-funded security.
Plenty of people following the story compared this to the New York car chase in 2023, when Harry and Meghan claimed they were almost run off the road for hours by paparazzi. The New York police later said the chase was more like 10 minutes and described it as minor. No one was hurt, and there was no real danger. But the story grew bigger every time it was retold. Now, it's a stalker who's actually a fan, was never charged, and just happened to give Harry the evidence he needed for a new security assessment.
Telegraph can reveal the woman who may be suffering from mental health issues, if she isn't and she's just a fan, although I would say if you're a fan of Harry and Meghan, you may have mental health issues. You know, you're kind of smearing her right there a little bit. Entered a secure zone at a central London hotel at which the Duke was attending the Well Child Awards on September 9th. 2 days later, she was spotted within a stone's throw of the Duke at the Center for Blast Injury Studies in West London, security sources said. She is said to have previously followed him to Nigeria.
On TV, Piers Morgan put it plainly. If there was a clear and present threat to Harry's life, why would the police and security services keep debating it? Why would they even be discussing whether to act? If someone was seriously out to get a royal, there would be no committee debate. The police would just take action. The reports say the politicians are worried about public backlash, while the security side admits there's a threat. But real threats mean police action, not endless meetings.
But then when this happened, it obviously irritated Harry to a great extent. He said in Oprah that he never in his wildest dreams thought that his security would be changed, which doesn't really make sense. To put it in perspective, isn't really saying a lot, because Harry was also surprised that his dad stopped giving him an allowance in his 30s. But at this point, Harry decided to sue the Home Office, claiming that it was unfair that he lost his automatic police protection, and his lawsuit was alleging that there was some flaw in the process of how they decided, that they used irregular decision-making processes, or that they were influenced by the royal family's representative on the Ravik committee, or something of that nature, that they were unlawful in their decision-making process.
This is about the point where Piers lost his patience, and really, who could blame him? While Harry's lawyers were standing in a London courtroom, arguing that Harry is never safe in Britain, Harry himself boarded a plane for Ukraine, an actual war zone. There was no big announcement, no obvious armed guards. Just Harry, walking around a country where bombs are falling. Piers jumped online. He says he's unsafe in Britain but flies to Ukraine. Hypocrite. It's ridiculous.
There has been media reports, especially in late 2025 and early 2026, saying that the Home Office has ordered a fresh threat assessment. Ravek has reviewed his security again, and there were discussions about possibly restoring automatic armed protection. But all those reports about reviews and internal discussions, not the original court case, being one.
And Ukraine isn't the only example. You can make a long list now. Harry has been to Nigeria, which has major security issues with Boko Haram in the north. He's gone to Colombia, Jordan, and Mexico. He's even been seen in London, alone, knocking on the doors of strangers. He popped up at a wedding, popped into events, and walked around with no visible security. All these times, his lawyers were claiming he was in danger, yet Harry seemed totally at ease wherever he went, so long as he got to pick the place.
Most of the countries that she visited did give her really high levels of security because of the scale and the scope and all of that. No country wants to be the one that didn't provide enough security to a high-profile person and make it seem like an unsafe place. So, Harry publicizing these things so extensively in the fall, some people thought it was a little bit of a conspiracy, that maybe it was sort of a setup so that Harry could publicize it to make it look like there was heavier attention and public responsibility on Harry's security situation than is realistic. This, of course, feels very unsatisfactory to many people of the public and royal watchers.
Here's where we are. Harry has become pretty unpopular, in large part because he's publicly argued about security for years in a way that rubs people the wrong way. Most wouldn't care one way or another about his status, but he's made such a big show of it that people almost want to see him denied security, just out of principle. At this point, Piers Morgan's main point is hard to ignore. A man who genuinely believes his life is at risk does not take trips to war zones, visit countries with known terrorism threats, or roam London knocking on random doors. The pattern seems a bit selective. So, after Harry went on BBC and lost his appeal, Piers didn't just criticize the decision. He called on King Charles to immediately take away Harry and Meghan's royal titles, not reduce them, not review them, just strip them completely.
I think as a couple, they've made a conscious decision to put themselves out there. And I think there's something else that Harry can't control, which is what do people think about him. And if you look at the polls on Harry and Meghan, and I spend a lot of my time looking at the polls, well, I've never seen a brand collapse this hard, this quickly. Since the end of last year, both Harry and Meghan are down 40 points. We've just had a poll in America which shows he's less popular now than Prince Andrew in America.
Right.
So as a brand,
and
I
just
think...
anecdotally, I've been bouncing this latest thing off people. They're like, get me straight, he's flown all the way from LA for a part of the process he doesn't need to be at, just to be in the papers, going through the front entrance, and he's laughing.
Yeah.
What kind of thing is he thinking he's representing here? What image is he putting forward?
Piers brought up what he called the Andrew rule. Back in October 2025, King Charles stripped Prince Andrew of his titles after his own scandal. Piers said, "There's a system now. If you embarrass the monarchy, you lose your titles." On social media, he posted, "The king needs to strip Harry and Meghan's titles ASAP. They'll never stop attacking him, the royals, or the family, while cashing in on their status."
I think they think they're the underdogs going up against the system.
But the public won't see that. They're in the middle of a cost of living crisis we haven't had in 100 years.
But
I don't think there's going to be any sympathy. Honestly, I don't. For Harry right now.
Is he looking for sympathy? I mean, he's not the only one who's made...
Well, he's looking for vengeance.
Well, he's not the only one who's very visible in this. And as you mentioned, there are other people, David Furnish,
Elton John and Doreen
Lawrence.
Yeah.
If Doreen Lawrence is pretty much saying exactly the same thing as Harry, and I'm sorry, with Doreen Lawrence, that infuriates me. Now, everybody is saying the same thing.
It's pretty hard-hitting stuff. And it went further. Piers pointed out that Harry bashed his own family when Prince Philip was dying, again when the Queen was dying, and now, while both his father and his sister-in-law are fighting cancer, he's doing it all over again. Is there a more disliked public figure right now? The worst part for many was the timing. That BBC interview aired the very same day Harry lost in court, the same day he accused the courts of being unfair, the same day he blamed the palace for not protecting him, and the same day he brought up Princess Diana's death. In one interview, in one afternoon, Harry managed to claim heartbreak, call for peace, attack his father, mention Diana, and blame the establishment for it all.
If he wins this, Harry, Meghan still won't want to come to the UK because it has nothing to do with security and everything to do with the fact that she hates the country you came from. She hates your family. She hates the British people. She hates anything that doesn't go her way. So even if he wins, he will lose because she still won't allow him to go. They still won't take the kid because she does not want to go. That's the truth there that Harry fails to acknowledge. Again, all of this is pointless. He's wasting millions of dollars potentially for a case that's never probably going to go his way to please a wife who's never going to be pleased. And so this whole thing is again point. And even if he wins, they'll probably adjust the rules and amend and take it away from him again because he can't justify this. Again, even if he claims he'll pay for it, I bet you bottom to dollar that the UK taxpayers will be on the line. And if the truth again is that he gets that internationally protected person status back, Meghan and Harry are free to demand any country they visit give them a massive, massive security detail.
Piers summed it up as he saw fit. Harry is just an emotional con artist in his eyes. And, believe it or not, most of Britain seems to agree. A YouGov poll showed 62% of Brits now think the Sussex titles should be taken away. That's up from 45% just 2 years ago. This isn't a small minority anymore. There's another detail Piers brings up that doesn't get talked about enough, and it could be the most important of all. Harry's drama isn't happening in a bubble. It's happening at a time when the British monarchy is under real pressure. Think about it. The Andrews scandal, public anger over royal money, the Republican movement gaining ground, and people annoyed with the monarchy's cost. With all that going on, Harry demanding public-funded security while earning millions in a California mansion makes the whole institution look even worse.
Of whether he does have security when he comes to the UK. If in fact he then gets it, as you point out, will it then be incumbent on him to bring Meghan and his grandchildren? Because that's always been his reason for not bringing them back. And I think the fact that Thomas Markle is in hospital and the whole relationship breakdown there, it's more important than ever that Harry's being seen to engage with Britain and the family that he was, born into and raised with.
On his show, Piers made this clear. If Harry's efforts only help tank public support for the royals, soon there will be nothing for anyone to fight over. No more security to fuss about, no more titles to cling to, and no royal institution to join, even part-time. The very royal identity Harry uses to justify his demands could be destroyed because of his own actions. Meanwhile, every news source says the same thing about Prince William, his standing firm. It's non-negotiable. William won't forgive, and is not interested in any peace deal. According to one former royal aide, what Harry and Meghan are doing is a deal breaker. Meanwhile, King Charles, who hasn't even seen his grandkids Archie and Lilibet since 2022, is dealing with cancer and running out of time, while his other son keeps filing court claims and leaking stories to the press from California.
I think this is a case of Harry living in a fantasy. He wants something to be real so badly. He wants to be as important as his brother is, so incredibly bad that I think Harry sort of makes himself crazy over it. He deludes himself so much because he just so desperately, desperately wants to be essentially the Prince of Wales. He wants to have that authority. He wants to have that respect that his brother does. But Harry just doesn't seem to understand that unfortunately is not his role in life. And there's nothing in particular wrong with the role of being the spare. You can see it as a blessing, but Harry sees it as a curse, and he sees himself as important or more important than his brother, and that's just simply not fact.
So here's exactly where things stand. Harry never wanted just a couple armed police officers in London. What he really wanted was worldwide status that makes him untouchable and forces every country to pay for protecting him. The court said no. Piers Morgan called it out, loud and clear. And with King Charles' time limited, the clock is ticking. Piers' own words are out there for everyone to see. Now that you know what was really going on, his reaction might just make more sense. Thanks for sticking with me. See you next time.